You get this sense that this guy has been around. Like before we even encounter him in the mines, there's a whole lot of backstory. He's built up these relationships with Anas, with other characters out there. Is that intriguing to you that there's a lot that we may just never find out about that in-between time?
Yeah, I don't think we will. You know, he's been thrown into prison because he's an opium dealer. You know, he's a drug dealer. And it's nice to play someone who's bad with a low moral compass. You know, it's a lot more fun.
Well, the physicality, we've certainly seen you mix it up in some fight sequences, and I think there's more to come. Is this the most physically challenging job you've had?
I think Cuban Fury was the most in terms of, I mean, that was 7 months training before we shot any of the film. And that was kind of 6 hours a day, 6 or 7 hours a day, every day for 7 months. I've done some martial arts in my life, but I'd never danced like that before. So that was all new, but I know how to throw a punch, you know. So I found the fight choreography in this a lot easier to do because I knew how to absorb dance choreography. And also, I mean, the way it's shot, it's the way the Hong Kong guys, Master Didi and Andy Cheng, you're only ever going to do 20 seconds in one go. 10, 15 moves that you learn there and then on set and go off and practice while they're light in the shot, and then you come back and you shoot those 15 steps. It's not that difficult, you know, I think. I think when you get, you know, you're fighting a giant Hungarian man who's got a sword, you know, also that's actually, I said to Daniel, I'm actually a bit frightened, you know, because I'm surprised no one lost a finger.
That's it
during the sword fight.
Yeah. What would you say is his finishing move? Because we seem to do this little finger poke thing.
Yeah.
But what do you think is his finishing move, and what would you call it? Do you have like a special name for a Bajie finishing move?
But that finger poke thing only shuts people down if they've got the gift. It doesn't. You know, I think that's fine with the gift. I think Bajie, you know, I think he's fairly spiteful. I think he'd put you to sleep. I think he'd give you a sleeper. You know, or he'd throw sand in your face while you weren't least. That kind of.
I think of him in terms of like a video game, like a Mortal Kombat type video game, that if he was going to really take someone out, it would have a cool name or something.
Yeah, like the pile driver or the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the Bajie bulldozer or something, you know, like...
Yeah, some B alliteration would go behind the word Bajie.
I would think so.
The Bajie banger, or... I don't know what that means.
Well, which is actually would be a great wrestling move too. And you're a wrestling fan, right?
Yeah, I just made a wrestling film with Stephen Merchant and The Rock.
Yeah. I like how you just worked that in there. Nice subtle drop.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we just finished shooting that like 3 weeks ago.
And this is Fighting with the Family, right?
Yeah, and it's based off a documentary that was made about a family of wrestlers in Norwich. Do you know where Norwich is?
Is that... Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
So it's a place in England. It's called Norwich. It's very ancient, and it's in an area called East Anglia. And they're a family of wrestlers. And the daughter went on to be WWE's Paige. And so it's a fantastic story. And I play her dad, Ricky Knight, who's a bank robber and a violent man turned good. And you know, the whole family wrestle.
Do you get to kind of bring some of the... You said you've done martial arts before, but do you get to bring some of the stunt training that you've learned from Into the Badlands onto this production?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it always stays with you, you know, and I think productions are always happy if you're happy to do as much as you can physically. I think as being a 45-year-old man now, the difference between me now and me when I was 30 is I think I probably would have said yes to anything. But now being a dad and... You know, I think physically you suffer. I had to have an operation on my knee after Cuban Fury, and it's, you know, it's not 100%, and you get constant pain from doing fights and falling over, and you know, I think you realise when you get older is that it will now stay with you forever, and whether or not that's worth it artistically to be able to not play football with your son, or you can't pick a child. You know what I mean? So I think I'm more aware now in terms of it's okay to say, you know what, I'd rather not do that. But I still don't. I still try and do as much as I can.
It's got to be bizarre though, because even though you worked with a lot of accomplished people, when you're dealing with The Rock, he sort of exists in his own sort of stratosphere of celebrity in a way.
Yeah.
Was that an interesting dynamic and person to work with? Did you automatically feel like, oh, I'm working with The Rock?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, to be fair, to be completely honest, I never saw him on set. We were just in completely different scenes. But I'm still openly boasting that I've been in a film with The Rock. Mm-hmm. I think that's allowed, and I've even thought about what I'm going to wear at the premiere when I know that he will be there then, which I'm kind of excited about. Because I was a fan of WWF and him as a wrestler and his kind of bouts with Triple H and Stone Cold years before he ever became an actor, you know. So I'm still slightly in awe of... I think once he announced on his Instagram page that I was a part of the film, I got like 9,000 followers, new followers overnight. And that's an odd thing when you check your followers and it's jumped up that much. You have that odd feeling as someone in the limelight, oh, a sex scandal's come out about me. Do you know what I mean? That's your initial fear, is something's come out about me.
Yeah.
But no, fortunately, it was just the Rock.
Yeah, and no Rock, Nick, sex
There was
scandal
no
together. Yeah.
Rock romp three-way, no.